It's the moment you all been waiting for. The Vatican Decoded is here. By me, God I knew. Behind it. Now the biggest thing to notice is these popes without the headwear. This is prior to Constantine adding pagan traditions to the Roman Catholic belief. This is why you see all the things I'm showing you now. Now when the camera pans over, you'll see that these other popes have the Babylon fish hat on. And they're being held up by the same little naked children that was holding the royal B sign. So this is showing you that this man was a part of the royal family. We don't play no games with this information. We're going to prove everything we ever show you. Now this is why you see them being held by these little babies the same way that the B sign was. And it's because these priests were, those certain priests are a part of the Roman holy royal family. So whenever you see these children uplifting a priest, you already know what that means and where it came from. So we're going to continue our tour walking through the Vatican. You can see some priests being held by babies and some priests not. Some priests with the headwear and some without. There goes that sun symbol, that cross. You're going to see that a lot also. All over the Vatican. There go John Paul II, supposedly sarcophagus or casket. They got him in his own section of the Holy of Holies. Now remember what I said about the Roman Holy Family. There's that beehive imprint. There's that sun symbol right there above. So they showing he's supposed to be a teardrop of Ra, a messenger of God. This is what they showing us. These symbols are all over the Vatican. You can't get away from it. There's another honeycomb with the teardrop. So now we're going to get into these circle symbols all over the Vatican. They literally walking on a sun wheel right now, these people. They have no clue. And what I want to show you is all the sun worship that's going on right now in just this room. So that's the same dove that was coming from the man's chest on the mirror we saw earlier. There go another dead white dude. Here we go with the sun symbolism. The inside of a dome. And I want you to realize that the 8-pointed star that's around these circles also, the lines coming off as sun rays. Here go more 8-pointed stars. We're about to get into that. In Babylon symbolism, the goddess Ishtar is represented by an 8-pointed starburst. And she is associated with the planet of Venus. So this is a a celestial worship. This is why I can't call it just sun and moon worship. We're going to see a whole realm of celestial worship here. Ishtar was the Babylon high mother goddess, the goddess of fertility, love, and war. Her cult was the most important one in ancient Babylon. An 8-pointed star enclosed with a circle is the symbol of the sun god, as its points represent the solstices and equinoxes, the same way you saw them outside. The Babylonian star cult is the core and the archetype of the subsequent astrology. At the center of St. Peter's Basilica, the Pope sits in the middle of the 8-sided stars. So here we go. There go those stars I was telling you about. They all over the place. They got 8-sided stars inside an 8-sided star right below a sun symbol. And this man, here you go, he counting out 8 circles. He know what's up. You know what I'm saying? He know what's up, so why don't you? You see the sunburst right there. To your right. Now you see the sun symbol on the wall. Again. Come down. I believe this is supposed to be the Apostle Paul with the sun symbol above his head. Twice. You'll see one right here. And then on the canopy that's going above his head, it's a starburst. Now this right here is showing you that people are unknowingly sun worshiping. They come and rub Paul's feet, whoever this white dude is. They used to kiss it, but they done rubbed and kissed it so much the indentures of his toes went away. This is thousands of years of sun worship. Hundreds. Whatever you want to call it. Even behind him, you see the same crosses in the circles. The entire Vatican is full with this worship. So you'll see the white people come through and worship them. Same here up on the roof. Got the halo. We talked about that earlier. The cross above the sun. And this is just the opening room. This is the first room we went into. And all this symbolism is blatantly in the face of the unknowing believers. So we're going to get on this big shrine in the middle just a second. So here it is. When you look through the shrine, you see where that dove came from. And the sun just blasting from behind it. You can't even see the design on the stained glass window. The sun shining so hard. Right above that, you saw the eagle above that painting. Got more sun domes and more honeycomb designs on the rooftops. Now you see the sun with the half crescent moons around this. Also, now here goes another one on the floor. Now what does this remind you of? You can't even walk on that. Reminds you of the Temple of Dendera in Egypt, doesn't it? That's because it's a direct plagiarism. Let me show you again. I'm going to show you. Now look how they holding up the zodiac. This is what I'm telling you. This is a complete celestial worship. In this documentary series, probably gonna be long as who knows. Now there you go. It's a celestial worship. See the phases of the sun and the moon? You saw it? I know you saw it. It's not a game. I bring you this information and I don't play around with it. Okay, so here's another starburst coming from the roof. It's another sun symbol. I'm telling you, it's full of it. So you got another door with the keys of Paul. Here you go with Serapis with the sun cross, with the behind his head. You can see where they put the cross right there. That's that same cross of Baal we talked about earlier. Here go another Serapis worship with the sun above his head. And there we go. We got Jesus. Same thing. Same cross of Baal behind his head. Ain't that something? There go another one. I'm just taking y'all so I can see these statues. Each one has a sundial with the cross of Baal in it. At the least with the cross of Baal. Here we go, another 8-pointed star. Enclosed inside a circle. I'm telling y'all, this is some deep stuff that they have incorporated into these cathedrals. It's all over the place. People don't even know it. So here we go. This is that area I told you we was going to talk about, where the Pope sits around 8 enclosed circles with 8-pointed stars in them. Now you see all those people in red, they call those the cardinals. And in the second video of this, the second series I should say, we're going to get into more of the traditions and where the stuff came from. But right now we're focusing on the architecture as much as we can. So this is the above view. You can just see it all over the ground. This isn't a joke. It isn't a coincidence either. I've already showed you this. So let's get into some of the background information. Some more information about these stars. The octagon is the parent of the 8-pointed star and is the symbol of fullness and regeneration. The 8-pointed star symbolizes wholeness, rebirth, and the cycle of infinity. It is associated with infinity and is further strengthened by the lemniscus of the symbol of infinity, taking the form of the figure 8 on its side, and through its links to the 8 primal deities of ancient Egypt, the Og God. This is not a game, I'm telling you. They've appropriated a whole culture and disguised it as their own. The 8-pointed star represented in different cultures. It can be found on national flags and in religious iconography. It carries various meanings associated with each culture that utilizes it. There are 8 paths in the way of Buddha and 8 immortals in the Chinese tradition. However, its universal symbolism is one of balance, harmony, and cosmic order. Its pattern is associated with early astronomy, religion, and mysticism. It is symbolic of both stars and humanity's earliest attempts to understand and communicate the order and unity inherent in creation, nature's rule. It's interesting, isn't it? Now I'm going to read you the second paragraph out of this. In the Jewish counting of the week, and used at the time of Christ, Sunday is the first day of the week. And a much favored interpretation by the Catholic fathers of the Church, the Christian Sunday is both the first day of the week and the 8th day of the week. Every Sunday is a celebration of the resurrection of Christ, which is combined with the hope of eternal life. Also in Islam, the number 8 is a symbol of eternal life. Such interpretations are rooted in old traditions associated with the number 8 and numerous ancient beliefs. So there's another link between Catholicism and Islam, and later on there'll be a lecture on that. But let's continue with going through the Vatican. Now that we have a background on the symbolism of the number 8 in the stars. So, everybody remember seeing this chair through the pillars that was sitting in the middle. Now, if you look to your right on the wall, you will see another shield being occupied by bees. If you look very closely, it's right there to your right. Now, let's give you a little background on this chair. Let us start from the bottom of this black altar, where we have 4 variations of the saints. Above, we can clearly see the papal hat representing the hive or pineal gland and the keys of truth. Nothing new here, but the rest of the emblem consists of 2 esoteric symbols carved on a shield. The first symbol is the tree, and it represents the tree of knowledge and life. It is the same tree found in all major cultures, representing the creation of life through genetic manipulation. Sumerian depiction of manipulating DNA, Babylonian depiction of Enoch manipulating the DNA tree. Notice the fish gods, the flying godly figure, and the 8-pointed star. Small artifact found near the 12,000 years old of the temple of Göbekli Tepe, depicting the serpent and the tree of knowledge / DNA. The second symbol is a beehive or honeycomb with an 8-pointed star above it. Standing on this altar there are 4 popes, plus 2 in the corners. Above them there are 2 women that could represent Ninhursag and Inanna, and 2 little naked children holding the keys of knowledge, and the papal hat representing the beehive and the pineal gland. So this is all over the chair. You got a big sun above it with the dove. And that's what that is. Now, before I start taking you into the museum areas, I want to show you these other cathedrals. Now look at this. It says to break open the scrolls, seals, and shit. It had that sun symbol on it. Now I want you to bring you in here. Look at this. This is not Jesus. This is in the Vatican. This is in the Holy of Holies. That's Apollo, a Roman god with the sun symbol behind him. He's representative of Mars. Now I told you this is a complete celestial worship. That's why they had that fake zodiac. Look at it. Right in the Holy of Holies. Right in the middle of the cathedral. They got them all fooled. It's obviously not Jesus. It doesn't take much because we just panned over from a mirror with Jesus' face on it. So how in the world they don't recognize that's not Jesus is beyond me. Now, let's take a tour into what they shouldn't even have. An Egyptian museum. Right there at the Vatican. What a coincidence. All these Egyptian customs and they have an Egyptian museum. Did you see the canopy? I know you saw them. So you telling me they got all these Egyptian and Sumerian, you're gonna see tablets and texts, and all this is just a coincidence. When the person who supposedly wrote the first 5 books of the Bible was taught all the knowledge of the Egyptians. All this is just a coincidence. No. This is real. This is true. This is an appropriation of one of the greatest African cultures. What we're viewing now is proud theft. You can even see above the walls, behind them, you see the winged sun disk. You go a Roman imposter. Right above the door is a winged sun disk. There goes Serapis. They got him large sitting next to the ancestor. They are appropriating various cultures behind closed doors, and these people walking through the museums, 99% of them have no clue. They're sheep, and I'll prove to you they're sheep. Before I end this, I want to show you some things. I'm just gonna take a quick last view of the museum. These are the people who started the robbing of our culture. Here goes Sumerians. You telling me they didn't know what they were doing when they incorporated the symbols into their paintings and tapestry and architecture? They knew exactly what they were doing. So there you have it. They hiding the secrets in their own museums. So this is something I didn't get to touch on earlier. This was this black square on the wall. The first big thing that caught my eye was a wall of prayer with a black square embedded in it. Above this wall was a great big cross and a painting of King Solomon, allegedly St. Peter, holding the key that unlocks all truth. This documentary was the key that unlocked all truth, and there's more coming. Believe that. So here goes the Muslim square. It's the same thing. Now I want to show y'all. Look at the back of this chair. You probably can't tell from this far away, but you see that little circle engraving? We're going to zoom in a little bit. Now if you look closely where I have the circle at, these are sheep surrounding the Pope. Now the sheep with the circle has his arm reached out in praise towards the Pope, but that arm is a human arm. Now I'm gonna let you think about what that means.